doctors are all surprised that I'm alive now, for the shit that I went through. And I don't know how long I've got. And so I don't want to spend my time, doing stupid stuff. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, when I was young, we were we were a poor family, and we were a poor family, and we basically our refrigerator, like I always say, our refrigerator was whatever was out back. Where the old man or one of us boys could go out and shoot, and so we learned right away dealing with police and dealing with the game wardens and that sort of thing. And so I got used to the law, and so I guess that's what got me understanding what the law was about and so forth. And then when I got married the first time, I was married to someone from El Salvador. I don't know if you remember, but back here in the '80s there was the Civil War in El Salvador, and so we were trying to get nephews out. So that's kind of what got me involved in civil rights and human rights and so forth, was getting, doing stuff for the country of El Salvador. And then after that, it was the Maine World Workers Coalition, working with people who were here for for work and doing work in the farms and the orchards and that stuff, helping them with their rights. So, that's kind of where I came into this from. It was a lot different from what we do now, but it's all civil rights. We're all civil rights activists. When we say that we're here for the 1A, we're here for the 1A, we're here for the Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, the Fourth.
Truthfully, Brian, I think so. A lot of people ask me, if I'm an auditor or if I'm a cop watcher, and I've had to evaluate that actually over the course of the last year, because that's really where I've expressed my public activism, and then ultimately started getting a deeper understanding of what my activism really is about. And I would say that if I had to actually put my finger on it, I would say that I'm an activist of the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, and just if you can remember, remind people, those who don't have those amendments, can you remind them what that is?
So that's equal protection under the law, ultimately. There's a lot more to it, but ultimately that's really what I believe, right? I believe that right is right, wrong is wrong, justice is justice, and just because you have a badge doesn't give you the right to abuse your public powers and enforce your will upon others, right? It's not equal protection. I deserve the same protection as anybody else in America, and therefore, if I'm out there doing something that's constitutionally protected, like my Second Amendment or my First Amendment, there's no reason whatsoever that my rights shouldn't be protected the same as any other person, and there's no reason why an officer of the law that has been granted public authority to enforce law should be able to then ignore law and enforce their personal bias.
Yeah, exactly. And equal justice for all is really important, whether or not you're black or white or Hispanic or whatever. We have to make sure that everyone's getting the same fair shake.
So here's something you might not know about me. So before I ever came to Colorado, I lived in Washington State, and my mom, during her second marriage, married a gentleman who used to be a game warden, and he was also a Vietnam veteran. Pretty hardcore dude. Very, very, very. What's that?
No, go ahead. I wasn't me.
Oh, no worries. And so I learned a lot about law, growing up as a child. But here's the truth. I also seen the same tyranny, through that experience as I now visually observe out in the field. One of my biggest concerns about America today is that we have seen a war waged against the Constitution. It is no longer the supreme law of the land. And that is contradictory to everything that I have ever understood or expressed an interest in. Hold on real quick. I'm blowing up. So all in all, I think that, you know, when I look at it and I see that, you know, someone's opinion, you know, can supersede law, especially if that opinion has government authority and or a majority to you know, stand against what is ultimately supposed to be protected speech, protected activities, you know, whether it's me carrying my firearm or saying that I do not give consent to search my shit under the Fourth Amendment, and or my maintaining of my silence under the Fifth Amendment. Once you start eliminating those rights, you ultimately are eliminating freedom. And that's the very thing that, you know, we are supposed to stand on from the get-go, right? That's the very thing that America's founded on, is those freedoms. And we were told, you know, as the Constitution was put together and they started, you know, developing the Declaration of Independence, that at the point that we saw government restricting those freedoms that are supposed to be guaranteed, that we should observe the fact that we are under siege. You know what I mean? And we're supposed to stand up. We're supposed to take the battlefront. You know what I mean? We're supposed to take to the streets. We're supposed to, within the law, right, within the bounds of the Constitution, protect the very things that this country was founded on. And they warned us in that document that the moment that we stop protecting it, it would wither away. And we're seeing it now. We're seeing it happen in our lifetime.
And I'm just putting this up. Andrew, is that you?
No, that's me.
Okay, just checking. And make sure.
I showed my face.
Oh, you were below the thing. I didn't see you.
You have to now, right?
Exactly. It's bad enough to edit one out. I'm going to be editing 2 or 3 of them.
So I don't know, man. Like, as I grew up, though, man, I kind of learned a few things, and I seen a lot of ruckus in the process. First time I ever had a run-in with law enforcement in the negative end, my next door neighbor had actually stolen a bike from a kid like 20 blocks down the road, you know, and he stashed it behind my house. And I didn't think nothing of it until the cops come knocking on my door, and they were like, "You're in possession of stolen property." I had no knowledge, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I was suddenly guilty of something.
That you, Preston?
Yeah, buddy, that's me.
Okay.
I love the shield, bro. I love the shield.
Yeah, but I don't know. This one here is my fucking favorite, though. I don't know. There's something about that one. It speaks to me. It's like the First Amendment. Oh, that's what I'm referring to. That is the First Amendment, not anything else. I just was using the wrong finger, I guess. But yeah, you know, I agree. It's you know, I think that if everybody could look at what's going on right now and understand that we're under siege. You know, look at what's going on with COVID. Look at what's going on with the changes within our administrations. Look at the things that's happening, and understand that you know the enemy isn't each other. You know, there's plenty of enough enemies out there that, as long as we do like what you and I are doing right now, and we talk about, you know, what it is we do, I think we're fine. What happens is we get involved with going off the side rails and so forth, and that's kind of what keeps happening with others. I know that you've had an issue with, what was it, Rick Crude or Rude or something. We got another, whoever this guy is. Yeah, who are you? Fuck the police? Is that really you? Yep. You're up there. Speak to me. Yeah, I don't think so.
They forgot how to talk.
I guess
I can always look in to find out if that was really him too. I got his number, so.
Oh, okay. If it was really him, he wants to come up. He's more than welcome to come up. But you know, he's still down. He's still in the back. Chuck Bronson, that's you, Chuck. That looks like Chuck. Chuck, what's going on?
Not much. What's up, Bird?
How you doing, Chuck, my dude?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty good, man.
How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, Preston?
Nothing much, man. Glad to see you on panel.
Was there too much snow for you to be out tonight, Chuck?
Pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sounds like a beer night, right? Like set up the beer and watch it from the car.
I know, right?
Well, since we got a couple of American heroes on the panel now, I'm opening up. Anybody on the panel that's got a question or wants to talk, go ahead and talk now.
I'm smoking.
You're smoking? Well, let's try fuck the police one more time. Let's see if he's going to say hi, if he's going to speak to us. Well, let's give him this one.
Are you there?
Hey, fuck the police, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't realize you were, I was muted.
Oh, okay.
Everybody does that.
I can cut my camera on too if you want.
What's
So,
up, FTP?
You guys might not know, but both FTP and myself both have court tomorrow.
Oh,
Plead
you're
not guilty. Take it to jury trial.
I know, that's Chuck Bronson.
Fire your attorney. Pro se. It's the only option.
This attorney,
Yes.
this attorney's the only thing I got going for me. He's also representing me on the lawsuit with the Sioux Falls PD. So
Well, then at least demand transparency.
I know
Absolutely.
Sorry. Demand discovery.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what's funny about that is so I've been waiting, I think somewhere around 6 to 7 months for the CSU general counsel, which is pretty much a group of lawyers that control everything that the college does, to release information on a meeting that they had with CSU PD in regards to my experience there at the CDC. And they claimed at first that it was client attorney privilege, which I find awfully interesting since it's literally in regards to public access to a public road after they removed a sign. So definitely no transparency.
Yeah, I actually watched that one when you were in 303 Cockbuck, right? It was with you? Yeah, when you got arrested and so forth. And that was pretty much, I mean, that was a slam dunk as far as they removed the sign. You were on the public, area. I was surprised that you gotten nailed. I expected that the prosecutor would drop that. I'm surprised the prosecutor has brought it to as far as he's brought it.
What's really disgusting to me about it, Brian, is that after the first incident, because if you remember, there was 2 incidences. First time when we went out was approximately 3 days before the national shutdowns for coronavirus. And so we went out there to run the story on the CDC under freedom of press. And we know that we never entered into any properties, and yet they were creating their own boundary lines and then claiming that I was on federal property when in fact I was standing on a state-owned road that not even the college owns. There was public bus stops. The GIS information showed that ultimately it was a public street. And I expressed that to officers, and I went by the whole thing of, okay, they're going to issue me a ticket, they're going to kick me off, and they're going to seize my broadcast and keep me from returning for a certain amount of time until court's over with. So I decided that it was important that I complied now to complain later. I took my redress to the district attorney, and he offered me a plea deal. And I was like, hold on, like, how are you going to offer me a plea deal? Here's the evidence that shows that I have done nothing wrong. And he looked at me and he said, well, you either accept the plea deal or you set it for the next court date. And I looked at him and I said, well, don't you have an obligation to accept this evidence? And he said that he wouldn't. So I told him that I wouldn't sign any documentation whatsoever until I spoke to a supervisor. Now, what's interesting about that is that he told me that if I didn't sign the paper, that even though I was there present, that I would be marked down as a failure to appear. And I seen that as an issue because I should have the right not to sign any documents without a lawyer present, right? However, they strip me of that right, which is stripping me of my Fifth Amendment. I seen that as absolutely malicious. But what's funny is he actually just accepted the fact that I wasn't going to sign it and then sent me upstairs to talk to his supervisor. So I went up to the district attorney's office and I spoke to the higher up district attorney. His name was Mr. Biggins. Mr. Biggins actually sat down with me. He reviewed the bus stops. He reviewed the geographical information survey, and he reviewed the very evidence that I presented to him with the permission from the college itself to be out there doing my story and filming in the first place. The funny part is that Mr. Biggins looked me dead in the eye and told me that he would not accept it and that there's processes for this thing, while I was asking him to add it to Discover. I was absolutely appalled. So what I did is I went ahead and I left and I contacted a lawyer and I told the lawyer what had happened. Lawyer told me that absolutely that they have to enter it into Discovery if I submit it for Discovery, and that they don't have the right to tell me no. So I went back to the district attorney's office. I told them that under the 14th Amendment that I ultimately am owed the due diligence of equal protection under the law, and that they were required to accept it according to the attorney I had spoke to. At that point in time, they accepted my documents. Now, what disgusts me about that is that just based on those documents, they should have dismissed the case altogether.
Yeah.
But instead, they decided that they were going to proceed to criminalize me. And that's when me and 303 just said, well, if they're going to do that, we might as well go back and protest. And so we went back the second time where you seen me get arrested.
Yeah. You know, what really sucks about the way they're doing things, and we're seeing it more and more often, where auditors are getting arrested, they're getting offered, plea deals, and, they're the auditors, for whatever reason, are forced into accepting, some of these plea deals. But, I don't want to say that when we accept a plea deal,
Because of our families, we're stuck in the plea deals because of our families.
right, exactly.
Or financial situation, right? Like that's another big motivator, because not very many people can afford the bail. Not very many people can afford the attorneys. Not very many people can afford the time off of work.
Right. And so what ends up happening is you end up forced to accept a deal that, that you're innocent. They know that you're innocent, but they don't care about truth. They don't care about justice. It's not justice to them anymore. It's winning. And that's not what justice is. Justice is not winning. Justice is making sure what was right was done. And that you had, and you had fair judgment. But that doesn't seem to be the case for them anymore. And more we're seeing that when we are the ones who get arrested, when we're the ones who end up going up against these tyrants. And imagine the amount of people who are forced into the exact same thing, who aren't auditors, who don't have cameras, who aren't able to put this out on YouTube to show everybody what's happening to them. Imagine how it just like when we go and we're, our rights are trampled when we're at a stop. It doesn't stop there. It goes to stop right straight to the front of the judge.
Can I just interject for a second, Brian?
Go ahead.
Everyone, welcome Jackie, good citizen. She's been missing for a while. We love her. We miss her.
Jackie.
Welcome back.
Great.
Welcome back, Jackie.
Welcome back, Jackie. Welcome back.
Absolutely. We've heard a lot of people in the chat.
Hey, KY.
To recognize, everybody in the chat. I'm glad to see you in here. We've got a good group in here. We've got a good mixture in here, and I appreciate you all being in tonight. Like I said, it's glad to see that people are staying cordial. Like I said, when I was over at Bird's, His chat was being very cordial, so I appreciate everybody here is being very cordial, very supportive. And what Bird and I are at least trying to not be killing each other. We were going towards an area we needed to get away from. So
No, but Brian, that's a huge point. The fact that you pointed out that they just don't listen to the. It's not a guilt or innocence thing. It's all about the money, and it's not about making you pay or for the crime that you committed. They totally twist it. So, to what you're saying is totally 100% accurate. They really don't care about justice anymore. They're just painting the zebra and the picture the way that they want to paint it, and they don't care about what truth is. It doesn't matter what you say, and in sentencing, it really doesn't matter. Or the plea bargain, they're going to pay you no mind, and that's what's so scary about it. So I think, and I don't know which way you're taking it, Bird, but it's difficult to sit there and take plea bargains when you just don't feel like the plea bargain even fits. You may know that you're getting a good deal, or you may think, hey, I did that, or maybe you may think, no, that just doesn't fit me, that crime, and that's just not what you did. But because your family's on the line, because your money's on the line, you're pigeoned into a plea bargain. It's ridiculous.
Well, and the other issue is that it's the way they're stacking on, charges now. You go and you get arrested. You're not looking at one charge. I'm not sure what Bird's facing. His maybe, but most of the time they're stacking charge on top of charge. So by the time you get done, when you're sitting there looking at what you could be facing, and then they offer you a simple deal that you have no jail time. But if you look at,
or you got the police that are getting restraining orders on certain people now too.
So what would you do? Would you take a felony, or are you going to take a misdemeanor? And if I asked everybody in chat, are you going to take the misdemeanor, or are you going to just keep going to trial and try and fight the felony? Whether it's right or wrong, are you really going to open yourself up to 20 years or 10 years or 5 years?
FTP, in your situation, you're saying that you have the evidence, or the police have the evidence, that you need to FOIA or obtain through discovery.
Yeah, I need e-skates.
If you're in that position, why would you take a plea? You better not go plea tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
I put it off last month because I was like, no, F this, and I walked out. Do you think this is right, what you're doing here? And forcing the narrative.
If you don't have the real evidence, then take the plea. I mean, if you're guilty and you don't have any evidence to go to jury trial, then just plea out.
I want to see the evidence.
You're stupid not to. But if you think that they have evidence that you need to see before you make a plea, that's what you need to make happen first.
That's funny. I actually felt the same way based on the review, right? So them refusing to release information from the review ultimately shows a sign of guilt. Not to mention they removed the sign, right? So here's a couple of thoughts. I had to really determine whether or not it was good to take a plea or not. The plea that I have been offered is non-punitive and non-criminal, right? So they've offered me a plea at this point for both trespasses and the resisting arrest, that they would dismiss the first trespass, then they would drop the other trespass and the resisting arrest down to a disorderly conduct noise ordinance, which would ultimately allow me to walk away with a charge that doesn't really affect my life. The problem is, and this is what I really had to think about, was that if I took the easy way out, if I allowed them to force me into a corner and take the plea, I would be silencing all of the tyranny that transpired and all the abuse of authority. And if you silence the truth, no change will ever come. And so am I stupid for putting myself in a position to where now my punishment could be incredibly more extreme, like a year, 2 years in jail? But is it worth silencing the truth over? And when I evaluated it, I determined that the truth is more important than my punishment.
It's hard to say you're right, especially because
But-
you and I are gun owners, and I'm not saying yours is, but it's say it was a felony you were facing. You and I are both gun owners, all right? So we know how important to us having that firearm is, all right? So if you end up with worst case scenario, you're going to have a felony, and they offer you down something like what they're offering to Bird or what have you. The problem is that, I mean, my God, I would myself, I would have a hard time sitting there and justifying not considering that offer. And then it comes back to the same thing. You're there to make change. And if you don't walk away from deals, you don't make change. You create a system that justifies what they're doing. And I'm not saying any of you guys should make a decision based on that, because I'm not in your shoes, but that's what we all have to think about when we accept. I've never accepted a plea. I've always fought, and luckily I've always been found not guilty. Anything that I've been charged with. So thank God I was able. But it's that one chance that a jury or a judge decides, you know what, I fucking want, I want this guy to go to jail, and nails you with with the charge, you're fucked.
I agree. There's always that chance, but I don't know. I feel like if you're innocent and you should fight. But
Appreciate that, no, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, you're either guilty or you're not guilty. I mean, people want to say there's a fine line, but there's really no fine line when it comes to that stuff. So, I mean, you
have video evidence proving your innocence. Why pay an attorney? I'm anti-attorney. I think attorneys are for taking plea deals, which I think is stupid on top of that, because if you're going to take a plea deal, save the money, you don't even need an attorney, because they're going to offer you the same deal anyways.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
420, check your emails.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Check
say
my email. All right, I'll check my email. So how we doing, guys? Bird, I haven't heard from you yet. Bird. Bird, yeah, Bird.
Bird's stuck on the glass pipe.
Yeah, or he's stuck on the throne, and he'll be back in a minute. Who knows?
We're taking a toke.
I was say, take a toke break, are we?
Epic, you want me to call you now?
But now, FTP, when you go tomorrow, now, what are I'm not familiar with what your situation is. Did you want to give us a little bit of background, just so that people have an idea what you're going through tomorrow, or do you want to hold yourself, or?
Well, I'm in a no-win situation as far as I can see, and right now it is not looking any better. Chuck knows because he was on my live stream earlier, but I know what's right and I know what's wrong, but and I know what my role in everything was, and I know exactly what happened because I was there. But try and tell that to these people. Try and prove that to these people and get them to come forward with their video footage and the 911 call and the testimony. I can't do it because they want to pigeonhole me into a plea bargain. That doesn't make any sense. If you want the truth, but that's not what these guys want. They don't want the truth. They want the money, and they want the ankle bracelet, and they want more money on top of it. Yep. And they want to keep me in my house even longer. And then they're going to say, oh, you got 1 or 2 years on probation. Now, I'm not down with that.
Well, let's face it. They're actually trying to hide the truth and or conceal it, right? And that's the biggest issue.
Yes.
And I think one of the other things that their motive is, especially when it has to do with a camera, when it has to do with somebody who is trying to make them accountable, they're going to do whatever they can do to control you after the fact, to get you into a situation where, you know, the charge isn't great enough that you have a probation, that they can control you, that you can't film for, or you can't leave the state. This is what they're trying to do, is not only are they trying to punish you,
They're trying to silence you.
they're trying to control your activities afterwards.
Yeah.
Which to me is worse than anything else. It's one thing if you're trying to punish me for what I did. It's another thing if you're trying to stop me for what I'm going to do, which is a protected activity by the Constitution. You know, that is what irritates, I think, most of us, to the point of, you know, I think probably what got us into this. Maybe other avenues, but essentially, that's why we're here.
Well, and be careful about telling cops that you're going to file suits. And the reason I say that is because 303 Cop Block actually just set his charge for trial, which is a single trespass. Now, the district attorney is aware of the evidence, and they also are aware that there's no evidence that shows us ever entering into any property off of that public accessible street. That being said, they know that there is no trespass. However, they're fighting tooth and nail because they know as soon as that charge is dropped, we are filing the 1983 for seizure. We expressed that to them as they were breaking the law. But I would pose this question. The district attorney just, I think like 3-4 months ago, called me up in a case that I had arrested 2 gentlemen for multiple felonies. And I turned them over to the sheriff's department under citizen's arrest. The district attorney gained convictions off of those arrests, and they found me to be incredibly honorable. They thought I had an amazing integrity. I've been a block captain for the neighborhood watch, and I was also running crime and safety meetings for my city, where, you know, the town turnout along with law enforcement turnout was absolutely huge. And in fact, I spoke directly to the sheriff of my county, and he had personal conversations with me to go and review the results of that meeting, giving this little city an additional officer for a bunch of crimes that were being committed, such as burglaries and stuff. It was all happening at night where we had no protection, right? Now, what's interesting is that now all of a sudden I'm the criminal, right? Now all of a sudden I'm no longer honorable. And the funniest part about it is I've committed no crime, in my opinion, right? And why should I hold and put someone under citizen's arrest that's committing multiple felonies, but then suddenly when a law enforcement officer with a gun and a badge who's in the process of committing felonies, I can't tell that guy that he needs to do his job before breaking the law? Like all of a sudden I can't stand up and say, no, you don't have the authority to arrest me, by stating that your probable cause is that you got a call that I was filming on the public road? You know what I mean? Like, that's not reasonable suspicion of a crime. I'm sorry. So where do we draw the line? And then where does my integrity at that point?
That wasn't a
come into
crime.
question?
They
I
shouldn't
agree.
be trying so hard to fucking prosecute.
Well, but they will, because they know that I proclaimed it, you know what I mean, several times, that, you know, because they trespassed me the first time and seized me, that I was going to sue for that. And we went back this time to make sure that they ultimately arrested me so I could file for the malicious prosecution in the process.
Right.
That's crazy.
And so a lot of times you have to look at what's behind the reasoning. What's behind, you know, why they want to do things that they do. And like what you just said is a good example. If they think, even if you haven't expressed the fact that I'm going to sue, if the district attorney looks at the situation and says, hey, this guy can sue, so we have to push this to a point of where we get some sort of a conviction or something, so that we can go back and say, oh, wait a minute, you know, Your Honor, look at this, what he pled to. And so a lot of times it has nothing to do with law. It has to do with protecting themselves, covering their asses after the fact. And that, that is so far against everything we stand for, allowing them to do that. For them to use the law against us, and to use the law to punish us in future stuff it's ridiculous.
Breaking
Well, I
the
don't know.
flaw. Breaking the flaw. He's not breaking the law. He's breaking the
Breaking the
flaw.
flaw. Yeah.
How you doing breaking the flaw? Jump up here if you like.
Join the show with the shitbird. I'm here.
But no, I'm glad that the show is going as well as it was. I had some question. I had hope and so forth. So I'm glad that going the direction that we decided to go is working out. But so I appreciate. So any of the other guests got anything to say? Okay, right back. You probably be sitting there with 100 things you want to say. If he's awake.
Breaking the flaw says, okay, 1 second.
Wow, KY Packer with nothing to say. I can't believe it.
I'm sorry, I was otherwise engaged.
Sleeping or I won't say.
I thought I heard somebody snoring.
No, I wasn't snoring. My son said, I'm going to Taco Bell. What do you guys want?
Oh, you were giving. Oh,
Taco Bell, you want some exploding shits or what, bro?
That's my favorite fast food.
Tacos.
Golly, that's where I could have drained the fucking cavity.
It's just a head above you there, bringing the flaw. I stuck it up there.
So I think one of the grossest things that I think that I've experienced throughout the entire process was when I made it to the jail, the treatment that I experienced in the jail facility, because I was asking the cops simple questions such as, what are you going to do? Just add a random address to my trespass that I was never on. And the funny thing is he was like, yeah, pretty much. And the funny part is the side of the road I was on was not the address that he used, right? The side of the road I was on was actually a different address, as the address he used expressed that I went back to the CDC property, which I know that I wasn't on, right? But what really kind of disgusted me, beyond the piss and pubes things that I believe that even Abrams during the middle of our feud highlighted as a negative experience and un-American, an outright violation to what I see as the 8th Amendment, right? Cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
The reason that the arresting officer gave to the sergeant staff at the jail was that he had no concerns about me other than I was a constitutionalist. That scared me more than anything.
Hey, hold on. I got AFA on the phone right now. He's calling me from his new house, and he is freaking out that Bird is on NNE.
He would be, believe me. I've got several people calling me up that are freaking out. So, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think that, I mean, who knows what the future brings and where things go from here. But I would say that, if we're all ultimately trying to, fight against what we consider to be tyranny, then I think that we ultimately can put all the other bullshit aside. I don't agree with every video being a banger. Not every cop watch is a clickbait, freaking awesome, video. But at the same time, I think that almost all videos that are published show a problem or 5 in every encounter. And that's what I kind of, start focusing in on, is that if there's that much problem with transparency, like I've seen a lot of Chuck shit, right? Like Chuck has fucking gone through the ringer. And why? Because he follows cops around and then holds them accountable to, the shit that they're doing, and then publicly putting it on display for the whole world to see. Well, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be fucking up that bad to where you should be concerned about someone pulling out a camera.
Well, a good example, and I don't know, some like him, some hate him. No name artist. Look what they've been doing to him down there in South Carolina.
Yeah, can't even get his phone back.
Yeah, can't even get his phone back. He's been freaking busted, 3 times within 2 or 3 weeks, and for doing the same thing, walking on a sidewalk, taping a cop. And the problem is that it's so expensive for him to defend himself that he's trying to raise money to defend himself and can't even raise money to defend himself. And these guys, they know this. They know that. And people laugh at me when I say this, but I say that there's just as many cops in here in our chats as there probably are. Well, I should say just as many, but there's a good number of police that are in here that love to stir up the crap and keep us busy. They don't want us keeping our attention on what we should be keeping our attention on, and that is filming the fucking cops. All right, so they love it when we're fighting with each other. That's why I got to the point of where I spent so much time, going after that one and this one and defending myself on this and so much hatred that I hadn't been out and filmed a fucking cop for a month, and I hadn't I was kind of ignoring people that I shouldn't have been fucking ignoring, and not helping some of the new guys that I mean helping them, yes, but not to the point I should have been, that I was ignoring why I was here, and that was to help these new guys. And so that's kind of one of the things that pushed me to the point of where I said, it's we have to get shit back to where we came here and why we came here and so forth.
That's funny you mentioned that, because so think about this. In 2020, I spent just short of $18,000, somewhere between $17,000 to $18,000 on attorney fees, which at least 50% of is for defense. The other is civil, right? So it's not exactly related to cops and criminal stuff, but at the same time, like that's a fucking huge overhead. I still got to come up with another $2,600 to go to trial. And what my lawyer's actually doing now to prevent the district attorney from Trump charging me is he's actually going to make sure that we separate all 3 charges. So they have to try me individually on each charge. So by the time we get to the resisting arrest, that's the only thing that's going to be there at that point, right? That's the only thing that they'll be able to argue, because we all know the trespasses are going to fall off. And as soon as they do, we file the 1983s. I don't know if you guys know, but in my jail experience, they lost at least 10 hours of video footage that was requested to be preserved, including footage from my stay and my transfer between cells. And they did it intentionally. They also, like I read through the paperwork, they also processed me under pretty much stipulations that don't exist, things that they have no policy under, such as being verbally uncooperative. And so the only thing that I said when I entered into jail that could be taken as awkward is, I seen them gowning up in their robes and shit, all this medical equipment, and I asked them if I was going to get gangbanged. Now, probably not the smartest move to make, but at the same time, that's not verbally uncooperative. Where they're finding me verbally uncooperative is that when the nurse tried to start processing me and run medical tests on me for COVID, I told her she wasn't my medical doctor and I didn't submit myself to any medical testing outside of my personal physician. Then all of a sudden they decided that they were going to violate my rights however the fuck they wanted. That's a problem, because I have the right to refuse medical privacy or medical treatment.
Medical treatment, yes, yes.
But one of the problems is the cost. If I have a situation where I have a really good case for going to court and so forth and for civil rights. But if you go to a civil rights lawyer, if you're not able to do it yourself, you're not able to file the papers yourself, it's $5,000 down. It's $5,000 per month, and it's going to be guaranteed at least $30,000 before 6 months. I mean, my God, if I don't know about you, but I can't handle that, and most auditors I know can't handle that. So they know that they've got it made because they know the cost of a lawyer is so great that they can go ahead and they can fuck with you.
You know what's funny about that, Brian, though? That might make me one of the most dangerous auditors out there because I'm one of the few that can actually float the consequences, right? Just like when I went out to the CDC the second time and I knew that we were forcing the hand of government, I went out there with enough money to bail both me and 303 out of jail.
But see, for you, that's good, all right? But for the average auditor,
there's no way.
There's no way.
For any average American, I would say, unless you're fucking sitting on $100,000 plus job a year, or sorry, $100,000 a year job, then you're pretty much fucked. There's no way you'll be able to financially keep up with the way that the system breaks you down. So where's the comply now, complain later? And where's the right to a real defense? Because we all know that a public pretender is not a real defense, especially when he's having lunch with the fucking district attorney by the time you're done going to court.
And he wants to keep his ass clean enough that when that district attorney retires, he can jump into that job.
Yeah, he takes over that job, right? He goes from being the fucking defense attorney to being a prosecuting attorney. And if you ask me, that is fucking sick. The bar has failed so miserably to set rules and regulations to make sure that we, the people, are on an equal playing field to them, the government, that there's no way that the normal man can feasibly take care of it.
Oh yeah, and it's gotten to the point of where, they know that they can do anything, and when you say that you're gonna find a lawyer, they just laugh. I mean, you watch most of the recordings that you see, and on any cop watches and so forth. And the minute the auditor says, I'm going to call a lawyer and so forth, these cops know what's going on. They know that most auditors don't have enough money to follow through with it. I mean, we're not a bunch of rich people. We're usually just people looking to make a difference.
Well, I know that they treated me like I was full of shit all the way up until the point that my lawyer filed the lawsuit and started having conversations with the attorney general surrounding the missing records requests. So I think that's when they started taking me a lot more serious.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? Breaking the flaw here.
Hey, Breaking. Hey, how you doing, Joe? What you up to?
Good. After my Worcester arrest, I was telling the cops, get your checkbooks ready. I went to the mayor of the city. I was like, yo, this isn't going to look good, and it's not going to turn out good later on either. I was letting them know I'm going to go all in on this. And, they're pushing it all the way on their end, too. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
I get it.
What do you think it's going to cost you?
What do you think it's going to cost me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If you have a lawsuit, you're going to push against Woodson, what do you think it'll cost you? Can you do it yourself, or you have to hire a lawyer?
I'm going to be doing it myself. Excuse me. I'm going to trial, but I have a lawyer right now. I mean,
but you're going to pro se trial.
I don't know how I'm going to move forward, but I'm just, that's all I'm saying right now. I'm just going to say that. How's that?
Yeah. Leave it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and again, it's like No Name. They just keep throwing him in jail, keep arresting him, keep, stacking the charges up on him. That right now he has no idea what he's going to do.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: is I'm not giving in. I will be fighting it all the way. No doubts.
Yeah, I mean that's what I had was. I had a brother-in-law who was a defense attorney and a sister who was an attorney. So I had someone who was able to give me the information, to look up law for me and so forth. So I was always lucky enough that I handled my own problems. But I see other people and the amount of money that it costs these guys to even to hire a lawyer for a simple case now is costing thousands of dollars.
Yeah, this happened to me. I took a lawyer. He dissolved his firm. I paid for him already, right? I hired him for his services. But I think he's just too busy to take any cases since he's dropped his firm and he basically merged it with another firm. And I think that's fairly cowardly of him, my opinion. And I will be pursuing to get that money back for sure. I really didn't get much services out of him. Yeah, he showed up to court a couple times, but that's it. He just showed face. And you know what? Maybe I'll just ask for, after those services were rendered. And I'm the one that collected all the information in the case. It's like I feel like I did all the legwork and he just did all the paper pushing, which I could easily have done. And I trusted this guy, and people keep saying, "Oh, you need a new lineage of lawyers." Well, it's funny because the guy I had before him taught that lawyer, and the guy before that lawyer was taught by my other lawyer, and that original lawyer was Kevin McKenna, and he took down some big politician and police officers back in the day, and that's why I liked joining that lineage of lawyers, but shit happens. But
Chuck, do you have anything pending right now, Chuck? Or are you all set right now?
Say that again.
Do you have anything pending right now, or are you all set on cases and so forth?
Yeah, right now I'm waiting on jury trial for there's the gas station pullover video.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's not done yet. Wow.
No, they've been pushing it out. Well, because I filed for jury trial and I do my shit pro se. Yeah. So it's scrambling to decide, and then on top of that.
You're in there talking and I can't hear you. You got to come in here.
I'm not sure which brands that were, but they.
What brands? What are you talking about?
KY!
Mike, your mic.
But anyway,
what's going on, guys?
I got court in March. What's up, cameras? And we're gonna see how that goes. It's jury trial pro se. I submitted the evidence showing that I'm 100% innocent. I submitted it to Discovery when I requested mine. I said, "Here you go. Here's yours," and video evidence completely. And,
God!
But the the prosecution wants me so bad that they're I think they're going to try to do it. But I said bring it. I like beating them in court. I don't mind. So yeah. Next month we'll see.
Next month, yeah. Yeah.
What are Chuck? What's the repercussions if you lose?
Nothing. Oh
what
yeah,
is it, a fine?
Ticket. Yeah, I gotta pay a ticket. I don't know how much it is. $169.
If you don't pay that, do you just sit in jail for a day? What's the deal?
No. Well, I don't know about that. If you don't pay your ticket, I don't know what happens. But
you would definitely go to jail.
License or some shit, or blah blah blah. But no, I'm not gonna have to pay, so I don't even care about that. And my mind doesn't even go that direction.
I got your support, man. You're gonna win all the way.
Just like my last ticket, I drove fucking 12 hours, 14 hours to Virginia Beach to go win that one. You know what I mean? Pro se.
Oh, you drove 14 hours? That's a drop in the bucket for you.
Stay in the hotel on the beach, just to go beat a case to not pay a, $50 ticket.
I can attest that Chuck Bronson.
I remember my father getting a ticket. I don't even remember what the fuck it was for. I was just a little kid at the time. Right? I remember my father getting a ticket and him refusing to pay it. And I can remember that he went to jail and sat in jail for a few days and so much per day that they accounted for his fine. And he fucking sat in jail to pay that fucking fine because he was bound determined he was not going to take food out of his kid's mouth to pay a fucking fine. He didn't think that he was, he should have paid.
Hey, I agree. I just took a plea recently.
What we need to get back to,
Hey, I took a plea recently, and I requested doing community service hours. But let's say if I don't do those community service hours, I had to sit in jail for 3 days, basically.
Yeah.
Take the fucking 3 days. Fuck it.
I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm actually going to do community service for a church that's a nonprofit. And if they don't accept the hours from them, then I'll just sit in jail.
3 days in jail. Take it.
When I was
Or you, or you
Easier
do
than
the
doing
community-
it's easier than doing the community service. Let me tell you.
Because then they're
They're
gonna
breaking
argue
the
your
law. I
fucking
think-
when I
hours.
was younger, I totally didn't do my community service and had to do 10 days in jail instead, and it was like whatever.
Yeah, because then they're gonna
I
argue
think
your
we
fucking
should,
hours. They're gonna say you didn't serve enough fucking hours, and take the fucking 3 days, have it done over with.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or you could just go auditing and say that's community service, you know, trying to
Hey,
find
there you go.
Yeah, I think I had to do like 80
Community
hours
service.
of service. So like do 80 hours, that's like 2 weeks every day. I'm like, 10 days and you're done.
Well, the church I'm going to do service for, they look at any sort of your activism to change the world in a positive manner is considered in their service hours. So, as I choose fit, you know, so I can go do it.
Yeah, some
Even
places,
yeah.
some places will hook you up and give you like 8 hours for 4 hours and things like that. You find
I,
like,
I have to do 21 hours.
not too bad.
Well, you got one big supporter there, Bailey May.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring in my timesheet that says I only did 20 hours. See if they throw me in jail for that 1 hour.
Yeah, they probably will.
Actually, they absolutely will.
Of course they will.
Oh yeah, that 1 fucking hour, they have to give them a reason.
How many hours
Did
do you have to?
Did they give you like a certain guideline that you have to follow for them?
Yeah, so my fine is $310. So what they calculate is $15 an hour, which is 17 hours, right? However, the court charges a 24% surcharge on all fines. So they raised it to 21.
So if you do jail time, you'll do what, 3 days?
No, that's interesting. So I was thinking if it's, $310, yeah, 3 days. But if they don't count that service charge, I guess it would be, 17. Oh, wait, sorry, not, it would be, I think it was like 250.
Because it's like, to be honest with you, it's like
2 days.
like $1,000. I think it's like $400 or $500 a day to incarcerate somebody, to throw them in jail.
Yeah, in New Hampshire it's 150. So
100
310 would be 3 days. I'd be stuck with that $10 in the third day.
Fucking do the 3 days, man. You'll sleep it.
Probably. Actually, I'd probably spread the message and convert the whole jail into liberty-minded people.
Can you imagine how much fucking Josh is pulling in jail, fucking advising these fucking people in there? They probably want him the fuck out of there so bad right now.
Yeah.
I know.
God.
What's this about probable cause? I heard you talking about it over there. I can only imagine the prisoners going, looking to him for direction. How could I fight my case? Or
yeah. What do you mean I don't have to say? I don't have to fucking answer questions. What the fuck do you mean if I'm a
Yes.
I don't have to give you my name.
You know why I agree with that? Because I did a lot of jail time, and that's all guys do, man. One guy that knows the law a lot more than the other, that guy will be asked millions of questions by all types of different guys, man.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure. I wouldn't.
Cameras of mass destruction.
whatever you do, guys, do not go to prison and have
that's the only thing you got to do.
Well, don't go to prison with the skills of being a tax assessor or a tax administrator, because then you'll end up like the guy in Shawshank and doing everyone's taxes. It would suck.
Yeah. Especially right now. You would not want to be the fucking tax guy going into jail during January and February.
I would only learn the skills so I can sneak into the media room and blast my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard on the megaphone.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason why I become a tax assessor.
Man, you know how mad the government was that they had to give stimulus checks to the prisoners?
Oh, really?
Man, the government was so.
The
So what do you
prisoner.
go into their commissaries?
You imagine getting that fucking,
I mean, I
put on
guess,
your commissary,
but
all of a sudden find
they're
out you got
entitled to it.
14.
Cameras, where are you at on when you got like NFL tackled by the IT guys at the county building? You ever heard anything else from that shit? And then you got trespass from the all public sidewalks in the whole downtown city.
That's impressive.
And buildings that he didn't even go to.
It's like me up here in fucking Harrison, Maine. They trespassed me to all
Yeah, they
freaking,
trespassed me from the courthouse.
yeah, from the courthouse. I love that. I fucking, you're going to trespass you from the courthouse. We don't care about fucking that little sign up there that says justice. You don't give a fuck.
Well, and how
You
the fuck are you restricted from filming inside? I mean, I understand proceedings to a certain degree, but I'd almost argue that at this point, because now all of a sudden we don't even have transcripts being provided by the court, or the clerk of the court, or the transcriber, who the fuck does it. But we don't even have accurate records, right? They're actually, just typing away, and there's so many fucking misinterpretations or representation of what was spoke that by the time you get done with it, it's a useless document. And so why are we not documenting what is happening inside of these courtrooms? It should be as much of a public record as anything else, especially after the trial's over with, right? Like, why is that not available?
Oh, it's bullshit.
Bird,
Not.
I've been in court, federal courts many times to witness like trials and that sort of thing. And what I noticed is that they obviously don't let you bring any recording devices. They did allow me to bring in a notepad and jot things down. Actually, they did let me bring my cell phone and my laptop in, but I wasn't they were keeping an eye on me, and I definitely never recorded. Right, I wouldn't do that. I agreed to it. I had to sign a paper to say I wouldn't with the media pass, but I wrote down everything I could as fast as I could. I mean, the people typing, that's one thing. They can keep up with it, but how do you know it absolutely is accurate at the end of it? And when we requested the transcript and the audio, they said it was like $900. And I was like, are you kidding me? How do we know this even matches up if we want to appeal? Like, we need to get this information now to make sure that we have an argument for the next case, the next district, Anyways.
That's like doing a FOIA request. If you have a bunch of information you want to get in the sheriff's department or police department, you put the fucking FOIA request in, and the freaking thing comes back to $300, $400, $500 for the shit that you want to have, and then half of it you want they won't give you, because all that's information that we can't give to you. It's just, I don't know. Our justice system is fucked right now.
Honestly, man, if you put in 4 years of records requests and they skip here and there, they're probably a good department. And I'm not saying they're a better department than the department that gives you everything. And the reason why is because if they're giving everything, I feel like they're really fine tuning what they're giving you. Like, for instance, when Socket, Rhode Island gave me all their police report incidents, completed cases, closed cases, right? For 4 years. I didn't even have to pay for it either. That's highly suspicious. And when Socket, Rhode Island is not a nice place, right? And the cops are super corrupt there. But then you go to other towns, they charge you a lot of money. And I think it's, I don't think they're diligent, and they have to be diligent. You're paying them to be diligent at that point. So what I think will happen when Socket is someone already did a request, paid a lot of money for it, and then now it's available to everyone because they already did it. They did all their fine tuning of the incidents. But
what about unreasonable fees, right? So check this out. So when I went to jail, and I asked afterwards, after I was released, for 24 hours of surveillance for all the sanitation of cells and areas that I was in, along with my personal experience, and then all those records went missing. Before they told me they went missing, they actually tried to stiff me out with money. They told me that it was going to cost me $1,700 to obtain that video footage. What's funny about that is, as soon as I told them, fuck it, I'm going to pay it, they called me back 20 minutes later after I told them I was heading down there with the money in hand. And then they informed me that 10 hours of the footage is absolutely missing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Tell them you want to put a direct investigation with internal affairs at that point. they wouldn't ignore that. Excuse me.
Well, what's funny is that I'm on some fuck that. You just file the lawsuit, deal with it that way, and then you talk to internal affairs, right?
Well, actually, if you're filing a lawsuit, you have motions to discovery, and it's almost like if they know that you're taking it to court, and like say they don't know you're taking it to court, and you ask for it, and they said, "Oh no, we don't have those 10 hours are missing." However, if you go to court and you stop filing suits, oh, I bet you that footage shows up, man. I bet you $1 million it shows up. But
that's funny because I was told it was destroyed.
Oh, really? Yeah. Go figure. I went to court in Providence with the Judge Caprio, court in Providence, right? And with the prosecutor, what's his name? Lovejoy. Oh no, Kilroy. That's it. Kilroy. He was playing games with me with my case. By the way, I won on both charges, right? Red light cam and overnight parking. I beat both of them just by freaking talking my way out of it. But they were trying to entrap me outside of the courtroom, and he wanted to talk to me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give you a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I'm going to step out of the courtroom, and I'll let you talk to me. However, as soon as I step out of the courtroom, I am now in the Providence police station. So I pull my camera out, and I start recording. He assaults me on camera. He tries to grab my phone, and he pushes my arm. Right? This is the prosecutor assaulted me in the police station. It blows my mind. And I went to go request the footage after I had court, which I just won. And I went down the hall. They let me into the back hallway, and I was like, "Hey, I want to request this footage." And they were telling me how much it would be. I forget how much it was. I want to say it was over $500 or something absolutely ridiculous. And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to spend if you're gonna request this footage, we're gonna have to give you all day's worth of footage. We're not gonna edit it out, except we're gonna blur out all the children's faces for you, and that's gonna cost a lot of money." That's what they said to me.
Right. Well, and the funny thing is, it really doesn't take them that long. But here's the biggest problem: is they're not allowed by either FORA or at least here in the state of Colorado through CORA. They're not allowed to charge you unreasonable fees beyond the actual value of what they are, handing you. And I would say that $400 for 10, 15 an hour worth of footage is more than unreasonable, right? Just like the $1,700 is more than unreasonable. Why are these laws being violated, and why are people not being held to account for it?
But the problem is, you have to go somewhere in order to say that that's unreasonable, and then that's the issue. Is they know the average person's not going to do it. An auditor, somebody like us may push it further than the average person will, but the average person's not going to do anything. So they're so used to just saying no that they're just going to say no to everybody now.
See, it's funny because you can go into the Providence police station and just film. After I have the commissioner's permission, the safety commissioner, which is like the chief, right? Like the chief. And he said we could go in there. And that was at an event down by the ocean. I'm not even joking. And then he told us firsthand, we have it all on camera saying that we can go and film in the police station all we want, right? So what do? We drove 45 minutes back to Providence, and we went right into the police station. And guess what? They're trespassing us. It was like, what are you doing? The commissioner, your boss, just told us we can film here.
Yeah.
However, it was after hours, normal lobby hours. The door's not just open, unlocked. You got to press the button to get in, whatever. But during the day, you can go in there and record. They're not going to give you trouble for it, right? And it's I'm asking for the same goddamn footage I could have been recording myself. What's the problem here? I'm not going to redact. I don't redact faces at all in my videos. I try to avoid pointing my camera at kids, but I'm. If I was getting assaulted, which I did hold my camera when that happened, and I did record that, by the way, which I haven't released yet because I'm still thinking about pursuing charges against them. As long as I can get that extra footage, because my camera doesn't do the justice, my opinion.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
yeah,
it's not going to go anywhere. So,
and it's hard when you start using your own footage, because you're going to get these prosecutors, oh, it's been edited or this has happened, and it's hard. But if you can get right from their own fucking camera,
Exactly.
anything.
Well,
That's why
actually,
it's so important to get their footage from them.
part of the
Brian-
problem is
Yeah.
it says unreasonable costs. The people applying it are making that judgment, and to them, it's not unreasonable. I don't think $1,700 is unreasonable to charge you. You know, it's because it's interpretive. It's their judgment that's deciding. You don't have much of a leg to stand on. That's part of the problem when trying to fight that.
Well, Brian, you were just mentioning that you used their footage against them. Heck yeah, I didn't even submit any evidence from my end at all. I asked for discovery of all the cameras from the police station. Oh, it's gold. It's
Right.
gold.
That's what I'm saying. The worst part, you talked about not using your own footage. I say it's better if you can get, even if it costs you, money. If you can get their footage, so that you're using their own footage, that they, they can't say that you've edited it, you've done anything to it, and that's why they fight so bad and they want so much money.
Oh yeah,
because they know their own footage is gold. Our footage, they can say, oh, it's edited, this happened, angle, lighting, so forth, so on. But their own, it's nothing.
Yeah, but if they have charges against you and you're taking it to court, they can't charge you for discovery. If you're asking for that evidence of, like, say, footage of the police station and stuff like that. So if I press charge against Kilroy, right, the prosecutor in Providence, if I started pressing charges and I asked for discovery, they can't charge me for that.
Well, they shouldn't be able to charge you because, for one thing, it would be an assault that you're pressing on, and that is it's a crime. So you'd be asking for information, you'd be asking for discovery on something that was a crime, not just you're going after someone for gain of yourself. So I don't know how they could refuse it.
I would, if you lose the case, right, and you try to sue and you lose the case, then yeah, you stiffed yourself on how much money you spend. But I certainly would, if I paid for the footage or something like that, I would add that to the damages of having to go after a prosecutor for assault.
Yeah. Yeah, and they know all they have. It's a waiting game for them. They wait long enough, and they know that time is on their side. Time is never on our side. Time is usually always on their side. And
I agree.
They're able to sit there and wait you out, and more or less worry you out, not just waiting you out, but worrying you out. And eventually, you're either going to kick a plea, or do something at least to the point of where they find that they win. Because, like I said, it's not a matter of them. It's not a matter of what was right or what was just or what was justice. It's a matter of them winning and ensuring that they've destroyed your chance for coming back for a lawsuit later on, suing them for damage.
Right. I bet you this whole pandemic has definitely made a lot of people take plea deals, because they're probably saying to them in court, like, hey, man, you're unemployed, you're staying home all the time anyways, just take the probation and home confinement. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Can I still collect unemployment and stimulus checks? Yes, of course you can. That's exactly what we want. We want everyone independent on the state. So you're a great candidate. Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Shake hands. Boom. All right. Dismissed. It's like, what the hell? That's exactly what they want. They want, people not just submitting to them, but dependent on them.
As a matter of fact, we're not going to give you work release. You are going to have to sit in your home until you're done, and you will be collecting all the fucking unemployment and shit. Yeah.
Just, hey, if they ever do that and you have no choice, be like, can you throw in Netflix too? That's all you got to say.
Yeah, I just
I need a Netflix and chill with it.
Yeah. Can I get internet TV? I don't give a fuck. Where'd you get me at? Just give me internet TV. That's all I care about.
Can I get one of those? Can I get one of those TVs that are clear so I can see all the electronics, like the ones you get in prison?
Yeah. Exactly.
So retro, man.
Well, good luck tomorrow. I see that we lost FTP, but good luck tomorrow at FTP and to you, Bird, and Chuck for you next month or whatever. Hopefully things work out. And no, that was not me taking a swig off a beer. It was water. I swear to God, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Whatever. Vodka, I can smell it.
Well, it's after midnight, so I figure it's a safe time.
I didn't hear your question, Brian.
Oh, I was just taking a drink off a beer. That was all my question was.
Okay.
Yeah. Unimportant, very unimportant. So what else? I mean, what else do you think that we should be putting attention on that we're not putting attention on? I think a lot of these wars that you're seeing around and so forth, there's a lot of people like myself, in the beginning that we need to get back into putting our attention back to what we should be doing and so forth.
I think judges need more attention.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, my wife thinks she needs more attention, but she's probably right.
So
go ahead.
I have something y'all should know about. It's an app. It's actually currently down on the Play Store, but it's going to come back real soon. I'm actually in touch with some of the developers of it, but it's called Cell 411. I'm testing for them right now. I'm not getting paid, so don't worry. It's not a paid sponsor, but it's basically like I'm using it for when there's no scanners in the town, and I can't, like, it's encrypted or whatever. And basically I'm asking people in that town that are using the app to let me know where the cops are, sort of like Waze, but this is specifically for, like, wherever they are. If there's, like, any kind of stop, any in, like, little town, any side streets or whatever. If you see it, to let me know if they're in that area. I'm gonna go over there and try to look, because I'm gonna be starting a petition in Manchester to get rid of the encryption, radio frequencies. I want it back to the original. That's not fair. Like, we should know if there's an emergency, some sort of, like, criminal on foot. We should know about these things. They can't hide that from us. Or, like, if there's a fire, I want to know if there's a fire. That's all encrypted too. It's crazy.
They're above the law. They don't need to show you transparency. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, exactly.
Says the guy with the scanner.
I deal with the same shit every day, dude. I know what's up.
Chuck, you can't hear encrypted radios, right?
Not really.
That's a big no.
Chuck doesn't answer questions.
I think that radio traffic should go back to being public for sure. I think that's one thing that really frustrates me about where I'm at, is we have no more scanners unless you can, get into an encrypted scanner. That's an issue. But here's my biggest issue right now that I think that we're overlooking is there's no oversight for inmate and sanitary or cell conditions, right? So when I experienced what I experienced in the jail, and they stuck me fucking face down and piss and pubes, literally, and then pulled my pants down and exposed it to it, right? I have it all on film. And the worst part about it, right, is that's a violation of the 8th Amendment. But what was worse is that after I experienced that, I called the health department and I filed a complaint. The funny thing is that the complaint that I filed originally was actually never filed. And then when I called back to find out what had happened to my complaint, they actually then filed a real complaint, where then it started going up a food chain. When I spoke to the highest person at the health department that I could, they informed me that they have no oversight on the jail and that they would not be intervening, and they would be forwarding it over to the attorney general, who also just ignored my complaint. That is scary, because that means that there is no oversight, right? Like, how is the health department have no authority over the conditions of those cells? How come they don't have the obligation when there is a valid complaint of something that the Geneva Convention would absolutely lock somebody away for years, and that they're getting away with? How
Yeah,
are
it
they
sounds
gonna
very dangerous when it comes to like, people getting attacked in jail and sort of thing. Sounds very
absolutely.
dangerous.
But I mean, I would think that our public health system should be at least, obligated to have oversight. They shouldn't just be able to fucking walk away and ignore it because all of a sudden it's another government agency.
I wonder what their like oath is, right? Is it similar to like a doctor being part of the health department? I wouldn't know that. Like, what are they breaking their own policy by not helping? Right.
Well, I think that they have according to what they explained to me, is that they have no jurisdiction and or authority to go into that state facility and inspect it and its health conditions. Either that, or they just truly don't want to have to go in there and do their jobs correctly because they know that there's going to be so many violations that the shit's going to blow a fucking lid off the county.
That sounds like the more valid.
Yeah, that's probably more like what it is.
Someone will pay, and I'm going to pay to make sure that they do.
Yeah, I watched that video. They pulled your pants down and pulled your underwear down in the front, and I watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, cruel and unusual punishment for sure.
When they arrested last day of freedom, they put him in a cell for 5 days, no mattress, no blanket, no drinking water.
Well, I do got good news. So there actually was during this whole thing that was going on with the 2020 elections, a lot of people didn't notice, but there was a Supreme Court ruling regarding violation to the Eighth Amendment, to a very similar circumstance that happened to me, except for this gentleman was pretty much left to freeze in a extremely cold cell with no blankets and so forth. There was feces all over the room to where he actually had to lay in sewage. And there was no argument. The Supreme Court, there wasn't even arguments presented. So obviously they weren't disputing the conditions of the cell. That's sick to me because, this is the thing. Normally the cops don't pay for that kind of stuff. And normally those cops have qualified immunity, right? The ones that are in the jail have qualified immunity. This will be the first case where they actually do not have qualified immunity, and they are being held responsible. And that has just happened in recent history.
Wow.
About time. A lot of laws are changing right now. I know it's, Biden being president is going to change a little bit when it comes to how police act and everything. But because of right now we're in this gray area, I think cops are escalated. Have you not noticed auditors getting arrested on higher numbers? I'm sure they are trying to pump up those arrest numbers right now. But I think once they start passing these new laws about how cops are funded or whatever, because that's what's all going to come down to. It's I'm curious. Are they going to shut off federal funding? Or I think maybe they already have enough equipment. They got enough Bearcats. They got enough, riot gear, whatever it is, that keeps them afloat. But
well, actually, they have worse than that, right? So check this out. Are you guys familiar with Sound Minds?
Probably. I'd like to think I've got a sound.
I mean, I have a sound mind. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a YouTube channel, all caps, Sound, second word Minds, and the dude has been a solid resource that actually gave me some really great intel on local precincts and the equipment. You'd be surprised to find out that the police over the last few years have been steering away from 5.56, which is really interesting because what kind of ammunition are we having the hardest time getting a hold of right now? 223 and 5.56. They moved into the 7.62, which means that the majority of police officers are actually rocking an AK platform. Beyond that, the vehicles is what concerned me the most. So they have like a $60,000 armored vehicle for things like riots, right? And I can understand that to a certain degree, especially if SWAT's initiated and you need that. But can anyone tell me the last time that an IED or a mine was used against law enforcement in the United States of America?
Yeah.
The last time? Was it Boston?
But that wasn't against the police. That was just in general.
That's not even IAP, right?
There was that. I'm talking about a literal mine buried under the ground, right? Which would I don't know of a single recording of it. Yet we have spent 400 almost $500,000 for these precincts to have access to mine resistant vehicles. Now, why the fuck are we spending $500,000 on a mine resistant vehicle if we have never experienced a mine, unless they were preparing for a civil war against the people and were expecting us to take the same actions that the Afghans or the Iraqis did?
Sure.
That shit scares the fuck out of me.
Well, maybe they should fill in those potholes. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe we should fill them up for them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did
somebody say pot?
It's fun, man. I think people say I'm a fucking conspiracy, but I think that's why we're seeing the shortages in 9mm, 40 caliber, and so forth, and others that we're seeing is because they don't want people to stock up. They don't want these groups to be stocking up and so forth, as they're afraid that because what changes there are, maybe not coming this year, next year, but in the future, is what changes will be coming. That they're afraid that if they allow too much ammunition out there, that they're going to have to deal with that ammunition, and that's why they decided now they're going to cut back on it. Because it's ridiculous. You can't get common. It's not like everybody's that is using that ammo now. They've cut back on the manufacturing for a reason.
Well, why were they shipping all those vehicles all across the United States, right? We know we've seen the trains, okay, and we also so I try to do a little investigation to see how much military equipment we were sending overseas to see if they were trying to send it somewhere, and from my dismay, we weren't. We haven't been sending a bunch of equipment out of the U.S. So that means that they were transporting those vehicles to areas in the U.S. And now all of a sudden we're seeing things like roadblocks and blockades. We're seeing police with huge and heavy gear, and then we got the National Guard joining in. I don't see the assistance of the National Guard in Portland as anything more than an invasion on Portland, and I absolutely see the use of the National Guard there at the Capitol, right, in D.C., as an absolute buffer between we the people and what we see as a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you gonna do about it, brother?
I don't answer questions.
I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna tell people what I think. That's about all.
I mean, that's pretty much all you can do. I mean, unless you want to be labeled a domestic terrorist, I mean, all you can do is express your grievance. But the problem is that, if you pull out your camera and try to put a fucking news story out there, they're going to treat you like a fucking terrorist. But then if you allow fucking people to riot the street and fucking raid businesses, these motherfuckers are just getting dismissed like it never happened. I don't understand that.
What do you mean by raid businesses? What are you talking about?
Burning those businesses down.
Absolutely. The vandalizing, the looting, you name it. You know what I mean? There were protests during the George Floyd thing, which I think is, unfortunately, the news media focusing our attention on racial divide in order to take our eyes off the fact of the civil rights infringements that we were experiencing. And notice when all this took place. Okay. Right before Corona was the largest gathering in U.S. history of armed civilians from states all across the U.S. I know this because Chuck was there and I was there and Joe was there, right? Right after that is when all this shit cracked off. It is no surprise to me that now all of a sudden, after putting all the sheeple back in their place, forcing them to put muzzles over their fucking mouths, and stay in their homes and not allowing them to go to Sunday services, that all of a sudden that all of a sudden now we're talking about bills like at first it was HR 5717 or something like that, right? Or whatever that number was, right? And now we're looking at HR 127, I believe, which is even worse. Like this is no surprise. I see this as nothing more than a power grab and the disarmament of America as we are seeing the authorities of what runs this country change. Corporation now has more rights than the individual.
All right. This next guy I bring up is probably going to be a troublemaker. You know, he really is a shit causer everywhere he goes. I'm gonna let him up. You guys decide. You tell me when to drop him, and I'll drop his ass. All right. Here he comes.
Who is it? Rick Rude? Nope. Joe. Rick Rude.
Oh shit.
All right, drop his ass. That's it.
Drop
Damn.
This is pretty cool, man. I just saw the title and bird face and all of that. This is cool. I ain't heard a word of the conversation, but this is cool.
Oh, Joe, this might be an epic conversation. I would highly recommend that you start the stream all over again and review it in its entirety.
Hey, when you're eating Funyuns, it's hard to hear anything.
Yeah, for all you that want to go back and watch it, Joe, just know that News New England will probably privatize it by the time it's done.
Oh no, I'm not privatizing like that.
I'm just teasing.
I don't have as many enemies as I used to, so I don't privatize this much. Or I should say, I don't know of the enemies.
I wish I could say the same thing. I seem just.
I got a lot of
haters.
feedback. I got a lot of feedback right now.
That's epic. Yeah, good call.
No, the only thing I got to do is go back and fucking put commercials all through this motherfucker because I know there's a lot of people who want to see this motherfucker, and I want to make sure I get as much out of this fast as I can.
Yeah, for two guys that don't like each other, this is definitely a relatively cordial conversation.
Right, for two immature guys who can never change and stuck in their ways. Pretty interesting.
See, now I told you, fucking is the shit. We're getting rid of him now.
Hey, to Joe's defense, dude, he has inserted a whole lot of fence posts rectally to make this happen. So,
I did. I had a lot.
you know,
yes, I had a lot of fence posts up my ass to make this one happen.
Yeah, I talked a lot of shit to him. I'll tell you. He told me, "Bird's not bad, man." I fucking
you did well, bro. And both of you cats, to see that y'all just up here, I was just happening to pass by. I got bumped out of Polly's room by mistake, not even sure why. And I'm navigating back, I saw you cats. And I'm like, what the fuck? Really? I gotta stop and say something.
Nice. I can only imagine that I was a part of that conversation somehow, huh?
I don't, not to my knowledge. I am high as fuck. I was stuck in the snow. I can't get up the block. So I've been out here for hours smoking weed. So I don't remember if you were or not. I doubt it. Rick Crew probably was. I don't think you were at all. Somebody was, I don't know, getting roasted or something. I don't know. Oh, Cindy. That's why I hopped on there. I saw Cindy. She told Rick Crew that I knew that that mommy had the kids back. Just hopped up there like she needed to tell him that shit. And I'm like, you were wrong. I didn't know that shit till fucking yesterday. I was the one to tell her she was wrong and, you know, clean your shit up the same way you put it out there.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe Cool, take a toke with me. Upstate, what's good, babe? All right, here, let me get my shit.
Yeah, we've just been on here talking about what's going on, what we need to do, and how we need to go forward and stuff. So.
Yeah, what were you cats talking about? Hey, you're a weed smoker. You gotta learn to mute your mic when you coughing like that.
This is my vape.
What you got in the vape?
It's 78% THC.
What
Indica.
Indica. You don't know what strand? Fucking, I don't know. Cookies and
Gorilla
cream,
Glue.
Gorilla Glue. That shit burn my fucking lungs, bro.
That shit'll fucking kill your lungs.
Right? It make
Throw them
you cough.
across the room.
Yes, that shit brutal.
That's why
Yes,
that's why
it
he's
will
fucking choking.
fucking kill you.
It
He's
Believe
does.
me, I had a whole jar of it, and then I had purple nurple, and
Yeah,
that shit fucking kicked my ass worse than Gorilla Glue did.
yeah.
And
My
now I
guy
got
had some
wedding
of that the
cake.
other day.
Way tastier too. That purple's the shit, dude. I love that shit.
Yeah,
Yes. Look
I
at
think it
this.
was T-Man had
This
some of
right
that shit
here
one
is
day too.
fucking wedding cake.
Yeah, I had some of that recently.
It's funny. All I got right now is the distill it. I don't have any greenery right now, unfortunately.
I've been there.
Damn. Come on over. I'll give you some. It's only a hop, skip, and a jump to northern New York, upstate New York.
Bird was up there. He got a really nice bid from upstate New York. Upstate.
I
I'd agree.
Joe, did you see what I did for that veteran the other day?
I did. I don't know. Maybe. Tell
Well,
me.
did you see the short video that I made of where the veteran lives or
I don't.
lived?
Under the bridge?
No, I
Yeah,
don't think I saw it then.
you got to go see that shit. That's where he
So,
lived, dude.
And I looked at your shit recently upstate to find some audits because your name is Upstate Audits. What do you think I found?
Think about what?
I looked at your shit recently to find some audits because your name is Upstate Audits. What do you think I found?
Probably the taser one.
Why is it that I probably found one audit or two? Everything else was fucking streams. How the fuck a motherfucker gonna find an audit? You're probably famous for streams now, right? Think about it, bro.
Probably, but it's like
Yes. Can't you
14
separate
below
them, get a
right now.
playlist, something, so
Hey
a
Joe.
Yeah,
motherfucker can see audits?
Hey Joe, your last name is Cool. Are you cool?
hell yeah, he is.
The name was given to me.
Well,
The
I've
name
never heard a
was
lady
given
call
when
him
I was a
hot.
kid.
I don't know. Some of his videos are pretty cool if you really watch them.
Hey,
It's cool watching him bad mouth telling those cops, suck my dick.
Dude, I gotta be
okay,
honest,
guys.
dude. Like my favorite experience, dude, still to this day, was the Mount Pleasant experience with Chuck Bronson and Joe Cool. Still
I
by
was
far the
upstate,
yep,
upstate. I was upstate
yep,
New York.
Where was
epic,
that?
dude.
Mount Pleasant? Where was that?
Yeah, have you ever seen someone whip out a fucking level 3 spike proof, puncture proof Russian flak jacket in the middle of an encounter?
Listen,
what?
while we were talking to the cops, Bird went back to the car, put on his vest, and came
Oh
back.
yeah, I
The
fucking
cops were
watched
scared
that.
to get out the fucking car till backup got there.
He was like, hold
Oh,
my
man.
I
beer.
saw that. And then you kept going over. See, okay.
You know what? Maybe you guys should go to Joe's page and pull that up just so we can all take a look. You guys interested?
Fuck
let
yeah,
me
do
just
that
wait a minute,
shit.
Bird. Let me tell you something, right? Now Joe came to me and said, "Look, Brian, you know, Bird's a good man. We need him. We need him in the fight. Okay." That's how Joe got to me. He said, "Look, I want you to do me a favor, Brian. I want you to go to my channel." He says, and he gave me the list of videos he wanted me to watch. He said, I want you to watch these videos, and I want you to watch Bird, and I want you to see the work this man does with Chuck Bronson, with other people. And I went and I watched Chuck's, and I watched Joe's, and I watched some of yours. And that's when I realized that you and I had a connection, and you and I had to stop our fight and turn our attention, because you and I are smart people. We know how to get things done, obviously.
I think I remember that conversation, Brian. I was like, I need that guy. That guy,
Yeah.
after you saw the vids, I like that nigga. I need him. I need that guy.
and that's what got me to go over and watch those videos. And that's when I said to Joe, I said, look, tell the dude, I'll put, have him come to me. Let's see what we can do. And that's when I said, look, I'll pull the strike away, give the man his fucking channel back. Because when I realized at that point in time that I had taken away a man's channel that was really trying to make a difference, that really was out there on the street, beating the street and so forth.
And
When I
telling a lot of
realized,
niggas out here doing it's not talented.
right,
This nigga cold.
right, and so when Joe talked, showed me that, and I went and saw it and saw some of Chuck's stuff with you, that's when I said, tell him, man, I'll pull the strike off. Because it's one thing to take a man's channel away that's being a dumb fuck. He's using his channel to be a dumb fuck. And that's all he is a dumb fuck, like me.
Well, I think I did both, though, didn't I?
I mean, everybody makes a wrong fucking turn. You know what I'm saying? Everybody makes a wrong fucking turn. The question is the man enough to realize he made the wrong fucking turn and turn around and go back into the direction?
Yes, baby.
I'll be back, guys.
And that's when I said, you know what? Not only have I gone down the wrong path, but you had gone down the wrong path. And that's why I said to Joe, if you were man enough to do what you said you would do and I would do, then let's put this together. Let's fucking try to end this war. You and I are probably never going to be buddies. I mean, you and I, we may never fucking sit down and have a beer together. Although if you've got beer, I don't know. You may. I fucking like beer. So
may reconsider.
I may reconsider. But you and I may not be the best friends. But you and I can at least understand we have a common enemy and go after that common enemy.
And that common enemy creates a common bond.
If we put all of our attention that I was putting towards fucking you over, and I know you were putting towards fucking me over, with fucking the cops over.
You niggas be deadly.
You absolutely. So that's when I said, you know what? This man deserves to have his fucking channel back. I got a lot of grief from it. I got a lot of fucking, heat from people on my side, but they've seen what you've done and where we're going with this, that they agree. A lot of them are coming around, and this is what's got to happen: is people got to see that we're turning our attention to where our attention needs to be, and then I think everybody will be accepting of it. That's
funny. I actually started a second channel just to avoid, publishing a bunch of fucking drama on my bird channel, right? I kind of seen that working really well. At the same time, I think that my recent experiences with you, Brian, have ultimately led me to quick resolutions with more difficult people like Rick Crude.
Right on. You learn from your past, yeah.
Well, you try to, but I'm still making mistakes.
But wouldn't it be nice if we could learn from each other? Standing side by side, shoulder to shoulder, instead of fucking using our talents against each other. And using our, if we use our talents in the same fashion, we could go so much further. And I guess that's always been the main thing with me, is I never thought that way before. I guess. Chuck, what's that? There's two Chuck Bronsons.
Well, I hate to do this because I'm really sucking up all this glory you guys are giving me and shit, but I actually just made it home from work, so it's time for me to wind down with the family and actually pay attention to what's probably most important in life. But I got to say that I have absolutely enjoyed the conversation, and I think that this is definitely this is the type of conversations that I think that can ultimately lead us to find some commonality that ultimately leads me away from the desire to disrespect others. So if we can stay on this page, I think that we can at least move forward with our professionalism and trying to secure the freedoms of America.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a pleasure having you on here. To your people in the chat, thank you so much for for your being the cordial cordial people that you work. I know how tempting it is to throw strikes and throw shit out there. I appreciate everybody who got along as good as they did together, and hopefully we can continue this in the future. Maybe someday we'll be in the
Well,
same.
we have the 5th, right? So I believe Joe's hosting on the 5th. I would like us to maybe consider, doing a neutral platform to where we can send both of our subscribers. I did talk to the 10th man, and he said that he would be willing to host that.
Yeah.
Or I should say, let Joe host that on his channel and help us as far as things go, and then open it up to the general public, including himself.
Who was rapping on the 5th? You and Brian?
Yeah, I believe that's what we're shooting for right now. And Joe, you're supposed to host that, right? You're supposed to be the moderator,
I remember
right?
talking about that shit.
Okay.
I don't think a host or mod is needed. You cats seem to be doing well. You don't need me no more.
I don't think that it's a bad idea for you to be there anyways, just
All
because you
right,
put a lot of work
I'm
into
okay with
brokering
that,
this
yeah.
piece, bro. So I would say, definitely feel invited, and I would encourage everybody from my platforms, definitely stick around and watch the rest of the conversation. I'll be dipping out now, but I guess with everything being said, know that I'll give you guys an update tomorrow after I get back from court. Outside of that, Bird, man, grab your guns, follow me.
Yeah, and let us know what happens, and if you have any film on that, let us know. We'd love to put some temptation out there if people come watch it and so forth. That's what we do. We usually put up 3 to 5 minutes and then send people to your page.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Brian. Everybody else, thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yep. Okay then.
Later, Bird.
All right, later, Bird. So yeah, I saw the video that he made today where he apologized to my wife, and I showed that to my wife, and so I called him in the middle of the day today and said, look, let's try
Very
to.
good. I didn't even see the vid. He might even told me about it, and I didn't remember. But
Well,
very good.
He made an effort, and so I said, you know what, if he's
Dude
gonna
is
make.
crazy watching the motherfucker, because I'm always getting hurt by watching my friends, my idols, do dumb shit all the time. It is really nice to see one of them, trying so fucking hard like that.
Yeah, and hopefully we can. Like I said, we may never be friends, but at least we can understand that we've got common goal, and that's, and maybe some other people will see us do this and they'll say, hey, fuck, Bird and I, we were
at each other's throats.
I mean, I was looking for his address if
they see that you guys can move forward, maybe they should learn to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if we can be anything to anyone, that that'd be great. If not, then fuck them, but if we can, good. But so what's Joe Cool up to today?
I'm kind of stuck in the snow, man. It took me half hour just to get half a block, so I can't really park my car. So I'm at a parking lot up the block. I've been here since earlier today. I guess I'm gonna leave my car here overnight.
Yeah,
got over a foot of snow here.
Over a foot? No shit.
Yeah, KY. Do I got your phone number, KY? Oh shit, I gotta hop off the phone. That's right. I was gonna send you a picture so you can show Brian, but I'd have to hop off the phone to send it.
I'm still waiting for you to send me ice cold audits PayPal, but I got it already.
I thought I didn't send it. Oh no, I texted him and told him to send it to me. He never got back with me.
That's right. I found it. One of the other guys got it for me. I wanted to send him some help his way, and
all right. I texted him. I told him, somebody wanted to hit him.
I got it. I'll find a way. If I want to help someone, I will find a way.
Right on.
Damn, Joe Cool. I can't believe 12 inches of snow would really slow you down.
I know it's only 12 inches, but my problem, this motherfucker is an old Interceptor, man. Police Interceptor. It's got way too much power in the back. And it's horrible. Even if you just get a little rain, it's horrible. This shit, I barely stand a chance, man. It is really bad. I mean, I'm sliding all over the fucking place. I had a low gear it half the way around everywhere.
Put some sand in the trunk and throw a plow on the front.
I got some shit. I got some salt in the back seat. Wait.
Make a few extra bucks plowing driveways. Damn it, Joe.
Got some salt in the back seat. That shit too heavy to pull up. But that's how I got down my block today. It's crazy.
Shit, it ain't as bad as I thought it was.
It's not.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just looking at my Bitcoin and stuff, and it went back up. So
is it up or down? I remember it was up last week. Everybody was talking about it.
Oh well, it's right now. My Bitcoin is up. Where is my Bitcoin? Yeah, Bitcoin's up to. God damn it! I hate it when I can't. Bitcoin's up to 33,638, and yeah, not too bad. It's going up. It was fucking down to 32 earlier. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I bought in at 26, so I'm still doing good.
26, yeah. Well, I still made a little bit, so I ain't bitching yet. So. Yeah, we'll wait and see where it goes in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you guys reading the chats?
You mean about Bucket Boy admitting that it was him, you mean?
Yeah, I put a little chirp out there about I thought it was Turtle Boy. Right away, oh no, it was me. I did it. I knew it wasn't Turtle Boy.
I forgot you cats got bombed. They said that. Somebody said that.
Yeah, it's like everybody thinks it's a real big fucking deal. As long as it's less than a couple of seconds, who gives a fuck? Even YouTube don't give a fuck.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, what tickles me is the guys that think, "Oh, yeah, I got him! I fucking got him!" Big fucking deal.
I think those are some creeps to risk a man's channel for a joke. I think that's a piece of crap.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sure I got friends who
we all knew who it was. He didn't let it be known. We all knew an hour ago.
Knew who it was? Tell me, or can you say?
Oh yeah, it was Bucket Boy. I got a picture.
It was Bucket Boy. We all knew that.
Yeah, no, it was Bucket.
He fucked up and opened up his cam when he had the name up there. So I have a picture of him and his fucking cam open with the name underneath it.
Oopsie.
So, it's one thing if you're a smart porn bomber, but if you're a fucking idiot porn bomber, you ain't
right. At the camera open, talking to his friends, playing with the cat.
That's all right. It's fucking karma. Somebody will go at him. You wait and see.
By the way, I'm going to give you some positive news. I've dropped my beef with Bucket. We have no problem, man. We don't. I just don't want to see stuff like that happen in the community. That's all. I don't think it's appropriate. But
that's
hey,
all Bucket wants to do now.
I think everybody should be getting along, guys, and fuck this bullshit shit.
Yes, I'm in a forgiving mode right now. I forgave someone yesterday.
What did Bucket do? I know he really didn't porn bomb. That couldn't have been him. What did Bucket do?
I porn bomb.
He ain't really fucking porn bomb, y'all. No chance.
Yeah, he's even admitted to it.
Do a playback.
No chance. He joking with you, cat.
I got his picture above the name that porn bombed us a few seconds before they porn bombed us.
I wouldn't believe that shit, man. I wouldn't believe it. You and Bucket at each other or something?
Oh no, I don't give a fuck about Bucket. Yeah, he ain't important enough for me to go after. Not at all.
Bucket, one of my new buddies. I'm just getting to know him. And we done had some ups and downs. I did something he didn't like. He went and made a vid about me. He done made 2 streams about me in 2 weeks. Both
Oh
negative.
man.
Why
Sorry to
I
hear that, man.
unsub Joe Cool was one of them.
Yeah, that's about it.
Brian, I swear to God, I'm not porn bombing you,
I
okay?
was thinking you read my mind, bro. You read. I wait for the camera to drop.
Somebody just say, "Man, he's got an ugly looking dick." He told him on Brian, he's an ugly looking dick. You gotta go see that. It looks like a pig.
Like chicken.
Are you aching? Yup, 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 yup. For some bacon? Yup, 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 yup.
Seven Bell says, "Hey Joe, cool. You're going to Florida still?"
I'm going to Cali is where I'm going this time. I'm going through Colorado and Vegas to get there. Florida would have to be my next road trip, but this one I'm going in the opposite direction. I don't see as much as I want to go. I'm dying. I have to go. All my friends are there. I think this time I'm going to Cali, man, and I got just as many fucking friends. My girl is en route in Colorado. I got to go past her joint. That's too irresistible.
Hey guys, I'm gonna head out. So I hope you guys have a good night and safe auditing, man. Safe auditing, everyone.
To you.
All right, peace
Hey,
out.
you too,
Later,
buddy.
breaking the flaw.
Always good being having you around, buddy.
Take care, Chuck. Hey, Chuck, would you travel out to New England for Bitcoin? We'll talk about it.
Sounds good. I can't wait.
Okay, peace out.
Thank you, douchebag. Oh,
Chuck.
I'm talking about this douchebag.
Chuck, do you get along with Hoosier?
Who's Hoosier?
Hoosier News Now?
Never heard of him.
Who's your knock now?
Oh my goodness, who's just a little pimp, man? He only about 5 feet tall, but he is a pimp. He got swag, yo.
He's a fucking narc.
Me and Joe was just with him like what, a week and a half ago?
Yeah, something like that.
He's a fucking narc.
No way, this dude would be a pimp in the hood, yo.
He's a fucking little narc. He's got my wife's phone number, and every time I'm doing something wrong, that motherfucker texts her and tells her, "You fucking hurting you."
You should see me, him, and Tyrant Slayer in the ANN group chat. I know people hate us, man. We go back and forth about politics all the fucking time.
I'll be sitting here in a conversation, and all of a sudden my wife will come storming down the goddamn stairway. "Who the fuck you talking to?" And I'm like, "Nothing." "Well, what are you talking about?" "Nothing." "Well, how come I'm getting a freaking text from who you're saying, 'Get your ass down and get your husband out of the conversation'?" I'm like, oh bastard. So every time I see him, I call him "Who's your knock now?" So.
Well, that's where I was all of Friday night.
Absolutely.
He'd like to get like Hoosier and Midwest and D-Johns and like a bunch of auditors together and go around Indianapolis like in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
I'm always down.
As long as I can use it out of fun, Southern Belle. Absolutely. Fucking sucks getting old, you know what, guys? Oh, God.
You got the other.
Brandon. Brandon. He's using his other account.
You got the other side of the coin too with that getting old shit. You got the wisdom that accompanies it. You know, you have you escape. You should, if you're wise. Yeah, you should be escaping from so many things that held you captive when you were younger. That you didn't even realize. You should be all these things come with age as well.
You know that's true.
I got a ride, man. I'm being requested in somewhere. Where have you cats?
Uh-oh. Somebody's got your number too. See it. Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to shut her down. It's almost 1 o'clock. And
Later, everybody.
got to be done. Hey, Chuck, thanks for coming on tonight. Appreciate the hell out of it.
Good to
Great
see you,
to have
Chuck.
you on now and then. So.
Yeah, later, everybody.
All right, guys, be good. Chuck, be good, man.
You too.
Epic.
Freeze, motherfuckers! I'm out.
Later, motherfucker.
Peace out, Brian.
Brian, did you want to share that AFA video you talked about
Which one was that?
on my channel?
Which one is that?
You said you were going to go to my channel and share that video. Don't have to be tonight. That's just a question.
Okay, remind me tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow.
Okay.
Send me a text or something, and we'll do that. And yeah, we'll have an AF. You guys, anybody have anything against having an AFA night tomorrow?
No, of course not.
I think we should have an AFA night. Why don't we do a nickel fool? Who the fuck is nickel fool?
You guys need to get him on the phone somehow, on panel or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I wish we could. It's fucking hard.
It's kind of hard to do, yeah.
With a speakerphone or there's a way.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll see if Anna can get, like something from him.
A recording or something.
Saying hi to all his people and NNE and stuff. And all the all the phenologists saying hi to all their people. And maybe we'll do an AFA night on that night that he can get that. Give it a shout out to Upstate and things like that, and Epic, and some others and so forth. And we'll do it that night. Play some of his stuff. I think what we need to do is play some of his videos and we won't play them to the end and let people go watch him over at his site. Give him because he's got to get some airtime on his site before his playback goes down too far. I wonder who this nickel fool is.
That's DFK.
Anyways, can I put out a shout out though real quick?
DFK is nickel fool?
Yes. He said so in chat.
Let me put out a shout out real quick, Brian.
Go ahead.
I shout out to you and Bird for making up like that, man. That was amazing. And maybe for YouTube making up like that, maybe everybody else will. You never know.
Well,
and that's great. And you know what? I've been seeing that you haven't been letting these people getting to you at all. So that's great, man.
Well, like I said to Bird, you and I aren't going to be friends. With what happened, I don't think him and I are going to be friends. And I didn't have him come on because we've all made up and we're happy. I said, but you come on tonight and we'll go one direction, and that's the way we'll go. And hopefully, we're going to find that we've got a common interest, and we don't have to argue about the things we don't disagree about. And that DFK, if that's you and Nickel Fool, just show me your face, and I'll let you up here, buddy. But I told him, I said, look, let's try to find a common goal, a common thing we can talk about that we can go toward, so that we can steer our way away from the fighting, that we can steer away from the arguments and so. He's not going to say sorry for me for everything. I'm not going to say sorry for him for everything. There's going to be raw wounds that people are going to try to throw fucking sand in. Hell, I was getting fucking texts all the time this evening. The question is can we keep going down that path? How dedicated is he to having having the war be to be called off? And I think he seems to be legit about it, and I think his people seem to be legit about it, and hopefully
there's already a big change going on, so it's actually pretty good. Like with you, Tank Man, and everybody, that's a start, man. It's got to start somewhere, right?
Well, and this is what I've been saying is somebody has to make the first jump.
That's right. The first move. Yeah.
So somebody has to be the first one, and it's got to be somebody that is at least able to bring enough attention to it that people will look and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And maybe I can do the same thing. And so between Bird and I think we've got enough of a following that, we've got enough friends in here that we turn enough attention to it that hopefully these other groups will see what's going on and are going to realize that their viewers are the ones who are going to tell them, you better start smarting it up. If Brian and Bird can, you can.
If they can do it, everybody else can. If you and him can do it, anybody else can.
Yeah, because Bird and I were going at it pretty heavy. If I was just a matter of getting his fucking address, and I was going there.
Yeah.
That's how fucking, that's how ridiculous it was getting to be, and that's when my daughters came to me and they're like, Dad, you can't fucking, what the fuck are you doing? Wife and shit, what the fuck? And I just had to stop thinking about it. And hey, who's getting knocked now? Yeah, absolutely. Show your face and go get a drink. And it's too bad. DFK and I were having a fucking knockdown drag out too. I threw olive branches out to DFK, and DFK and I have been able to talk to each other a little bit. I wish that is DFK. He'd show his fucking face, so I'd let him up. But maybe he decided it's not a good night for him. Maybe he's had too many. But yeah, I think you guys are right. We're going to see where this goes. Don't care if you did or not. What? You didn't get fucking Hoosier. Oh God.
No face, no space, DFK.
Yeah, no face, no space. That's right. No face, no space on the thing.
Hey Brian, I gotta go. I want to thank you for having me up. Been really fucking cool as hell. This one was one of those epic ones.
Yep.
Epic Cop Watch. Good night, KY. Good night.
Got a second? Hang on a second. I'm gonna show you something.